In the news this week, Boris Johnson encourages foreign embassies to fly LGBT flags, the head of Mencap performs a U-turn to back euthanasia, and Christian Olympians give thanks to Christ at Rio 2016. Hello. Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson has given the go-ahead for embassies to fly rainbow flags in an abrupt change for the Foreign Office. The rainbow flag, used as an LGBT symbol, will be allowed to be flown overseas on specific days. Previously, only the flags of the United Kingdom, its overseas territories, and the EU flag could be displayed. But the Foreign and Commonwealth Office has now said that the new Secretary of State has given his support for this shift in policy. It said the rainbow flag would be permitted on relevant local and international days. David Cameron's government introduced same-sex marriage in 2013, despite 2/3 people signing a petition against the plan. Mr. Cameron later said that he wanted to export same-sex marriage around the world. The head of Mencap has contradicted his organisation and the views of thousands of disabled people by calling for euthanasia to be made legal. Former actor and president of Mencap, Lord Ricks, said his position has changed on euthanasia in light of his terminal illness. Lord Ricks wants Parliament to act as soon as possible to change the law and allow terminally ill people to be euthanised. The move drew criticism from Alistair Thomson of Care Not Killing. The current position exists to safeguard vulnerable people from being preyed upon or feeling pressured into ending their lives. The law also exists to protect carers. It's a very clear and sensible law. Lord Ricks had previously voted against assisted suicide, and Mencap was one of several disabled groups to vigorously oppose a change in the law. The most recent attempt to change the law was soundly defeated last year after opposition from disabled rights groups, the medical profession, charities and religious leaders.
It says something for any society, the way in which they look after their most disabled, their most vulnerable and their elderly. And I do worry, I fundamentally worry, that we are starting down a path that essentially says that those lives of those who are profoundly disabled, who are getting old, who are a burden, are worth less than they are of others. And I think that is an incredibly dangerous path we go down.
The ayes to the right, 118. The noes to the left, 330.
Assisted suicide and euthanasia are illegal in the UK, and euthanasia is regarded as manslaughter or murder. Trust between parents and schools was seriously threatened by the legislation behind the named person plans. That's according to the Scottish Parent-Teacher Council, who spoke out after the Scottish Government failed to include it in discussions over changing the legislation. Executive Director of the SPTC, Eileen Pryor, criticised the Children and Young People Scotland Act, which sought to introduce named persons nationwide. Last week, she said the Act was an enemy of trust between parents, schools, health services and others. If information about a family, parent or child can be shared without consent, the inevitable consequence is a breakdown of trust. The Scottish Government is currently considering how to change its named person plans following the UK Supreme Court's unanimous rejection of the central provisions of the scheme. And finally, diving pair David Bodaya and Steele Johnson thanked Christ in a TV interview just moments after winning silver medals at the Rio Olympics. The US divers finished second in the men's synchronised 10-metre platform earlier this week. Speaking to broadcaster NBC, Bodaya spoke about not being defined by diving. We both know that our identity is in Christ, and we're thankful for this opportunity to be able to dive in front of Brazil and in front of the United States. Johnson reacted to the result by sharing how knowing Christ provided him with a sense of calm before competing. The way David just described it was flawless. The fact that I was going into this event knowing that my identity is rooted in Christ and not what the result of this competition is, just gave me peace and it let me enjoy the contest. Well, that's all for this week. For regular updates and information on all of our stories, plus much more, visit our website at christian.org.uk. Until next time, goodbye.